the death of Mr. Charles Amissah is something so disheartening that a nation can lose such a young, vibrant man just because of negligence and so incompetence. This is a dude that is full of life, and after his death, everybody, like his past schoolmates, his family, his workmates, the kind of messages people are saying about this guy should let you know the kind of person he is. I just don't know how stupid are we as a nation that we keep on letting young ones die just like that. It's so disheartening that such a vibrant man, 29-year-old man, 29 years old man. If for nothing at all, we could have gotten 31 years of service from such a young dude. I don't know, like, because if you imagine how much we invest when it comes to like education, how much we put into our children with the notion that we are going to invest one day, we are going to harvest that investment, and we just let them die. Just like that. When you think about it, is so mind-boggling. This is a dude that after his studies in China, I think I supposedly that should be his masters, he decided to come back home to share his expertise, what he has learned back in China. This is how Chinese built their country. They exported students to go and learn and bring the knowledge back home. That was how China was able to transform its economy. And so such a young lad who could have had all the opportunity, because he's an engineer, and I suppose he did an engineering course, master's there. And by the Chinese policy, once you do any STEM course in China, you have the ability to work there in China. You have the ability to stay there and work. So such a person had all this what's the name? I was like all this how do I call it? All these opportunities to stay in China and to work with the kind of system that they have there in China, and said to no, I'm bringing whatever I learned back to my motherland, Ghana. And this is how the country, the most despicable thing about the whole issue is that because this guy died because they couldn't get a bed to put him on. Hospital bed. A hospital bed. And it's not like, oh, maybe they went to one hospital and they couldn't get a bed to put. They went to 3 hospitals. And these are not just 3 mere hospitals. These are the cream of the cream of what we pride ourselves as a nation. Our hey Charlie, the cream de la cream of our hospitals. The police hospital, Rich Hospital, Korle. And these three hospitals all rejected this guy because of the bed. It happened that on this guy went to work. He usually rides to work on a motorbike, and it happened that he didn't come back on this fateful day, and so his family, they were worried, and they decided to make some calls at the workplace, and they found out that he clocked out. He works for I think it's a private company, and the system showed that he clocked out. Good. And yeah, he works for that cowbell company, I think so. Yeah, cowbell. Those who make the company that makes cowbell. And the system showed that Charles clocked out. But they also said that he left with somebody. So maybe they should ask. And it was a friend. And so when they asked the friend was also like, oh yeah. According to the friend, he was even around when Charles' mom called him, like, and was asking, when are you coming home? That's why he was also around. So he also saw Charles off, that Charles left. So they decided to go to the police station and to report. So this is this is just the first instance of how incompetent and how unserious that we are. A family comes to report that their loved one is missing, and it's rather the family that is going around doing investigation. That, like, there's no sense of agency in that country. You're like Jimmy, like Jimmy. Look, when I just try to think about it, like how at least they came to the police station to report the issue, and it's like, okay, so the usual this and they will write what's the name. They're going to write the report and blah blah blah, and just sit down and just forget. So this family had to, like, okay, with the what's the name, after going to the police, they have to make these flyers about what's the name, a missing person. And so they put the mom's number and they put the sister's number, and it's like, they, social media, so the social media did their thing. to spread information, So that was where Charles' former classmate, who is also into this private security firm, was like, oh, I work for this firm, like we're into security, and I think we can also bring our expertise to bear. So he got in contact with the family and asked for Charles' number, his phone number. And so with their tracking, they tracked the phone number to somewhere around Circle. And so they viewed some of the CCTV, they viewed some of the CCTV cameras there, and they realized that there was an incident. They saw a car hit a motorbike, but according to sources, the video is not that clear. But it was obvious that there was an accident there. And so they went there and went to the nearest police station around that area to inquire. So they met this CID officer who was on duty at that night, and he made note to them that yes, on this day, all what I'm saying is not like the same day something that happened. It's almost like 3 days. This incident, like almost like 3 days. Like there's something happened on Friday, Saturday. The thing happened on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This is like something like Monday issue. Like after 3 days, then that's why the CID officer now had to tell them that, oh yeah, there was his attention was drawn to this accident that has happened, and he went there. But when he got there, they said, oh, the ambulance had already come to take the ambulance was already there to carry the victim to the hospital, to the police hospital. So he brought the guy's motorbike, that's Charles' motorbike, to the station, and he asked, is this the motorbike? They're like, yeah, that's the motorbike. So he said, yeah, then he brought the motorbike to the station and then did a follow-up to the police hospital. So that is where his search ended, because it was supposedly he got there, it's like they had transferred the guy. According to the ambulance guys, they went to the police hospital first because that was like the nearest. They went to the police hospital first, and this is somebody in a critical condition. This is an accident. The people in charge there could look at the ambulance, like the whole of when you listen to the whole story, you can see the ambulance people did what they were mandated to do. They played their part perfectly, but they're so incompetent, and I don't like to use some words. It's so annoying, like, because there are people that they've been mandated. We pay you actually, like they pay you to do your work, and yet when there's time for you to do that work, when people now require you to do that exactly what you are being paid to do, you are turning people away. They turned the ambulance away and told them to send a guy to Ridge Hospital because they don't have bed. And when I think about this, do you know the number of people that have died in that country alone because in the name of bed? And then just think about it. So wait, they bring in a son of the soil. This is a child of Mother Ghana. And you want to mean that there's nobody in that hospital that at least his condition is okay, that the person can sit on the chair for the meantime, like can manage on the chair for the meantime, whilst you use that bed to solve this issue. I don't know, that we just disregard life. Like, it's just like we have no respect for life. That's the thing. We have absolutely no regard for life. And these same people go and be praying for long life in church. You go and sit in church and be praying for long life for your families. I do it like when you think about it, it's so annoying that because of a bed, police hospital, and do you know the funny thing? Police hospital had to sack them. A hospital that was established in 1976. This police hospital was established in 1976, 50 fucking years ago. 50 fucking years ago, 1976. And you want to mean that a hospital that has been established 5 decades ago has no capacity just to accommodate. There's no beds, like emergency system, like in that hospital to help children of Mother Ghana. Like when you I don't know, some of mine were on. Like where are we going after all these years of independence? Are we even thinking at all? Are we thinking at all? A minister recently had an accident in the northern part of the country, and they wanted to tell us that there is no hospital, even though there's a teaching hospital in Tamale. They want to tell us that there's no hospital in the whole northern sector in Ghana that can attend to that person. They have to take a helicopter to go and carry the person all the way from the north there to Accra. That's what they're trying to tell us. That there's no hospital. And this is a son of the soil. Ganaba. A youth who has about 31 years of active service in front of him. Yamana Wukwa, in the name of a bed. And you know the surprising thing? This same Charles Amissah, his father, if you know who that guy is, and you know the work that his father does for the healthcare system in this country, it's just like your father was, let's say, your mom is a food vendor, but all of a sudden, one day, because some circumstances, you die because of starvation. Someone that the dad had provided beds, hospital beds. It could be on contract basis, and there are several times that the father has donated hospital beds. Such a person, and it's not like the father did it. And there are some instances that he was part of them when they were doing that donation, that he was there. So such a person that he dies because of the same beds that he and his father has helped provide this country hospitals with. Like how stupid. Like when you just think about it. And these are the same people that, like, the same nurses that will turn him away, the same hospital that are turning him away will go home and complain that ECG is doing something. Like I don't know how we think in that country. This as you are so incompetent in your role that you play in your sector. You are so incompetent, and you expect somebody to be competent in their own. The same person that turned this guy down, the same person is going to be complaining about, let me say drivers charging exorbitant fees. Where Jimmy, like where you Kwasia? I don't know, like when you think about it, how can you just let like such a young man, 29 years, from the police hospital, they went to the Rich Hospital, another cream of Ghana hospital. Now some hospital idea. Whenever you hear reviews, I said if people were supposed to, if people were posting reviews of Rich Hospital online, wallahi to lie, and Gaza Hospital in Kagu, it's like a hospital that people go there to die. Like such an edifice. And I'm like it's just like when they refer to Rich Hospital, because of negligence, because of Nkwasiasemti, it's just like a death sentence. They go to her Rich Hospital, and Rich Hospital, a hospital established 1928. 1928. How many people do you know in that country that were born 1928 and are still alive? How many? How many Ghanaians? Like let's be frank with ourselves. How many people do you know in that country that were born 1928 and are still alive today? That's 98 fucking years. 98 years. Now hospitalized you all 98 years. Muslim to me emergency impact. Like Ababono. So your friend said, like, let's say this is life, and the whole Ghana is life that we are living. Are we going forward, or we are going backwards? Now, after 98 years, they say, hey, some of my know, Jimmy, you're paid for. That's why I say, like, me, I've always had this. I've always told my friends this, that until we start celebrating the death of politicians, they'll never take it serious. Until we, the people, so not only Ghana, this should happen to, like, everybody in that sub-region, like the youth there. Until we start celebrating their death, when one dies and we come out and celebrate, they don't know them, like, that's it. That's like one form of protest. When we start celebrating their death. How much is the cost of a hospital bed? Nansiya. Politicians, if you go to the various MMDs, if you go to the various directors of companies, CEOs of companies, new V8. Can you just if you look at where our mind is, like, if you just when you just want to just think about where the thought process of the black man, the thought process of the African. Why I'm surprised, because I remember I used to fight when I heard there was this research that people were like that Ghana is one of the countries with the lowest IQ. I just right now, like, right now, I see myself to be so stupid for arguing against that statistics. Yeah, Jimmy and Kasade, that statistics is really right, because the people themselves are foolish, and the leaders, they say the people now you're able to get, and then we go and look for a leader with Jimmy. That's it. That is it. And Jimmy for no, they come together, they look for the leaders that are so stupid that like the blind people looking for the one that's that is more blind. I'm on. That's how it is. That is how it is. Like, our priorities is never straight. That we live in a country that 21st century, 2026, that we have a government that still provide cars for their member of parliament. In the name of what? The countries that we go to beg from them, how many of them provide cars for their MPs? How many provide cars for their MPs? There's a priority. No, priority now was our black man, like the black man, like it's very like, just think. Hey, what they went to Rich. Rich also told them the same thing. No hospital beds, and so Rich directed them to Korle. And so Korle there. So look at this: is the ambulance people managing this guy. Life is leaving him. He's losing a lot of blood, because blood is associated with accident. Like, if you've ever seen somebody involved in a motor accident, you see it. Me, I grew up in the north. What to be specific? So I know. When you see it, life is dripping out of this guy. In medicine, timing is everything. In medicine. Time. The difference between life and death could just be 1 minute in medicine. And so it's not like ambulance is not there. The ambulance came. Now they did not call Rich Hospital, police hospital first. Police hospital said no. Let's go to Rich. Rich at home, they are telling to Korle. And okay, Korle DSNDA. That should be the mother of all hospitals in that country called Ghana. Korle, a hospital established in 1923. Once again, do you know anybody in that country born 1923 who is still alive in that country? 1923. 103 years old. What's the name? Years ago. A hospital that was established 103 years ago. That hospital looked at Amissah's face and said, no best. I'm sure at that moment, whether that guy was conscious or he was not conscious, he will let go. At that very moment, I'm sure if the guy was conscious or he was not conscious, he was going to let the ghost go, because it's like the country has failed him. We have failed him. We have failed such a young man. Then Korle told them to send the ambulance people that they should send him to University of Ghana Medical Center. And the people the ambulance people were like, baby, I do know, I critical. Man, who be we will not reach there, and you no. That you guys have to act now. If not, we will not get there before this guy dies. And still, they said no beds. So we can't act. So it was in the ambulance that the ambulance people were trying to give the CPR, because by then he had lost the guy Charles has lost consciousness. So they're trying to administer CPR. It was in the ambulance car the guy died. Somebody that his father has provided several beds to the hospitals in the country has died because they couldn't get a bed for him. So look, yeah, Jimmy, like everybody responsible, like all those people in charge, all those, like the thing is that usually it's like, oh, we're not angry enough, so this will pass. I said when you read the reviews coming from some of these hospitals because of these bed issues, it's so sickening. It's so sickening. They've brought a patient. No patient to be turned away in the country called Ghana. No patient to be turned away because of hospital bed. In such in that emergency. Now, more until what's the name? Let's hypothetically, if there's a war in that country, and we have like what's the name? When we have what's the name? Those doctors and nurses that are in the army, when they are treating fallen soldiers, do they treat them on beds? Do not treat them on at least administer, attend to the person first. Attend to the person. When you attend to the person and like you're able to, I don't know, like just manage the situation, then you look for that bed. And then say the BN say like if you answer muko school na muko suya, there's how doctors na mugo ham no. Ali come to improvise. And say improvisation bien ho. Improvisation bien ho. We've seen teachers who are posted to villages that they are not black balls. and the teachers are able to improvise. We've seen them every day. An ICT teacher posted to a community school that has no computers is drawing the whole monitor on the board. They are improvising to teach a case ICT. There's no beds. There's no bed. So if the isn't the bed going to do a treatment? Is the bed going to do the treatment? Say a bed she's coming on the best from crown and I'm attend to the guy. Massa. Hey, Mrs. How I know? Like, look, it's annoying when you see somebody so incompetent, so insensitive to a child, to a son of the soil, a son of Mother Ghana. Now, also then you also be complaining about other departments. Me say, until we start celebrating their deaths, you hear that a politician has died today, then you come out, namu bose, they are once alive, no. My condolences to the family of Charles Amissah. You guys are just victims of a system run by Kwasi Afo. Sorry.